Right now at 6, a new health warning as a dangerous illness spreads through Old Town.
Right, I spent Christmas at Providence Hospital. This is not a game, right?
Plus, Christmas Day turns tragic in the Rose City as traffic deaths surge.
Transportation infrastructure changes is only one piece.
Then, what to know about a new COVID variant, including where it's most prevalent. And don't kick that Christmas tree to the curb. How you can give the holiday symbol a second life. Good evening, everyone. We begin at 6 with a public health warning about a bacteria-caused illness spreading through Old Town that has sent some people to the hospital. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. County health officials say it spreads quite easily, and as Blair Best reports tonight, it appears homeless people are among those most at risk.
For people living on the streets of Old Town, staying clean is a full-time job.
It is pretty overwhelming. You gotta juggle all that, you know.
We just hope to God that we either have wipes.
And now more than ever. Late last week, the Multnomah County Health Department issued this public health warning after increased cases of an illness called Shigella were found in Old Town, including among those living outside and in shelters.
I got it. It was awful.
It spreads through fecal matter. Symptoms include fever and vomiting and can last 3 to 10 days.
I spent Christmas at Providence Hospital. This is not a game, right?
Michael found out he had Shigella after checking himself into a detox facility.
Then when I went to 4 Health, I couldn't hold any food down. It's gross, but soiled my clothes. It's disgusting, right? To the point where they weren't medically equipped for it.
They sent him to the hospital.
And I spent December 20th through Christmas on an IV antibiotic, right? 8 hours at a time. I couldn't even leave my room because it's that contagious, right?
County health officials say Shigella spreads very easily. Even a small amount is enough to make someone sick. So if you live or work in Old Town, wash your hands often and remove shoes before going inside your home or tent.
Or even just sharing a cigarette with someone that you don't know, right? Yeah. Sharing a vaporizer pen, if it has fecal matter on it and you ingest that, you get that infection, right?
And Michael's not alone. We found others sick with similar symptoms.
Side effects, fever, fatigue, vomit.
I was just puking and just going to the bathroom.
It is tough for folks outside when there's not access to clean bathrooms.
Now, one way homeless people try and stay clean out here is by going to the Behavioral Health Resource Center. Here off the corner of Northwest 5th and Gleason is a white van where they hand out tickets for people to use the hygiene services there.
Go over there so you can have a healthy place to kick it for a second.
It's a service many are now coming to rely on.
Take a shower and try to get new socks, keep myself cleansed as possible.
Now, if you think you have Shigella, you're going to want to get tested, and you can do that by going to a local clinic. In Northwest Portland, Blair Best, KGW News.
In your headlines this evening, Portland police are still searching for the person who fatally stabbed a man on a MAX platform on Christmas Eve. This was around 6:30 Sunday night at the westbound MAX platform at Providence Park. It is not clear what led up to the stabbing, but police say the victim boarded a train after he was attacked and rode to the next stop at Goose Hollow. That's where officers found him bleeding from that knife wound. He was taken to the hospital where he later died. Police say there is no ongoing threat to the public. The home where 4 University of Idaho students were murdered last year will be torn down this week. Demolition is scheduled to begin Thursday in Moscow. The home is now owned by the university. Officials say they hope demolishing it during winter break will reduce the impact on students who live nearby. This comes after the defense team for the suspect charged in those murders was given access to take pictures and measurements. Prosecutors have asked for the trial to take place this summer. Portland police say they have busted a drug house in Northeast Portland, uncovering drugs, guns, and stolen cars. In all, they seized about 30 firearms, a large amount of ammo, body armor, and what they call a significant amount of drugs, including fentanyl, meth, and heroin. Authorities say their investigation began with complaints about drugs being sold out of a home on Northeast Halsey near 141st. Police searched that home in June, and then this week a second house on Northeast 66th, plus a tiny home near Reed College. In all, 8 people were arrested, including a mother and son who officials say will likely also face federal charges. Police also recovered 3 stolen cars. They'll now be looking at all the firearms to see if they have been used in any shootings. And the new year is less than a week away, which means several new laws are set to go into effect. In Oregon, one's going to mean an increase in fees at the DMV. That includes paying more to get a new driver's license or to renew your current one. You're going to also face higher fees to take driving tests, get new license plates, or get replacement ID cards. Now, this is because state lawmakers passed a bill this year allowing the increases to help the DMV avoid service reductions. You can check out a full breakdown on KGW.com along with details on the other new laws about to take effect. Matt?
Thanks, David. The weather so far has been pretty tolerable this holiday, but there was some freezing rain out in the upper Hood River Valley. You can see the ice on the bushes there and the branches and on the windshields, even though it was easily moved away because it wasn't that cold, so the windshields were warming up. Temperatures right now are in the 40s here in the Portland area, but still there's that one little pocket of cold air right around freezing up around Parkdale, but lower down in the valley, even Hood River above freezing, so not a problem along Highway 84 out through the gorge. Probably not going to change either. Then we get a little bit of cooling overnight tonight with the east winds, but we got rain rolling on in again. And again, it's not going to be that heavy in the Portland area. We'll catch a bit of this in the morning hours until about mid-afternoon. Then it's going to begin to decrease. But the east wind is increasing right now. We'll peak late tonight, tomorrow morning. The rain will turn to showers tomorrow, and then a lot of dry weather as we start the new year. More on that in a bit, David.
Thank you, Matt. We want to get to a deadly holiday weekend in the Rose City now with 3 traffic fatalities in Portland on Christmas Day alone. Those include a single car crash on Southwest Barber, a hit and run on Southeast Stark, and a 2-car crash on Southeast 122nd. We just learned also as we came on the air this evening that there has been another traffic fatality. This time a pedestrian was hit and killed also on Southeast 122nd near Southeast Market. That was just after 5 this evening. The driver in that case, we understand, took off. Together, they all make 2023 the worst year for traffic fatalities in the city in 3 decades. Now, in addition to those 4, an 18-year-old woman has been criminally charged in a separate but also fatal crash. This one was on Christmas Eve along North Columbia Boulevard near Oregonian Avenue. The passenger, who was also 18 years old, was killed. The driver is now facing charges that include homicide, manslaughter, and DUII. Well, let's bring in John Adams now. John, 5 fatal crashes in 3 days. You talked to local officials today. What'd you learn?
Well, David, I'm going to focus in on those 3 crashes that took place on Christmas Day, and all 3 of them are in areas that PBOT characterizes as hazardous traffic zones. Now, people may remember that PBOT started the Vision Zero project back in 2017, aiming to eliminate traffic deaths on city roads. And part of that project was to identify which intersections in town were the most dangerous for drivers and pedestrians. But just for some context here, in 2018, there were only 35 related traffic deaths, and that number has been consistently ticking upwards since then. So why have things gotten more deadly since Vision Zero was announced? The PBOT spokesperson I spoke with today told me while many of these problem intersections need structural changes, speed and impairment are also major factors in accidents.
We are very focused and will continue to stay focused on making the investments that we know we need to make to change the design of our streets to make them more conducive to people. But it is a full-scale community effort, and it requires everyone to take a role.
Now, we visited the sites of the Christmas Day deadly crashes today, one of which took place on 122nd in Southeast Powell, and that is one of those problem intersections. And we do want to say that PBOT received a $20 million grant from the U.S. Department of Transportation earlier this year to do work on 122nd, and that includes that intersection there on Powell. We're expected to see changes sometime in the next year. David?
Yeah, that hit and run tonight that we're talking about a short time ago, a few blocks north of Powell, so between Main and Market, 122nd remains closed. Thank you, John. Appreciate that update tonight. Let's get to a health alert. The new COVID variant of interest. This one is called JN1, and as Randy Ayala from our sister station in Washington, D.C. explains, its rate of spread is what has experts concerned.
Virus activity is increasing and vaccination rates for children and adults remain low. This new COVID variant, JN1, making up 44% of all cases nationwide. And with not a lot of folks getting vaccinated, experts say this could lead to a serious surge as we head into the new year. I know it's not what you wanted to hear. This new strain is the most prevalent here in the Northeast. Health officials say your best protection is vaccination. And for the first time, there are vaccines to protect you against COVID-19, the flu, and RSV, all on the market right now. Data from early studies suggests this strain is better at evading our immune systems when compared to other variants. But this season's COVID vaccine is still, quote, likely to be effective. Now, this comes as 25 states, including Virginia, Maryland, D.C. was included in this list. They're all reporting high levels of respiratory illnesses, including COVID and the flu. Earlier this month, the CDC sent an urgent alert about these low vaccination rates. Less than 20% of adults have received the new COVID vaccine and less than 10% of children.
Our concern is that while the overall number of serious illnesses per number of people infected will be lower than we saw previous in the pandemic, if we're seeing widespread transmission, we're going to see deaths go up. We're going to see the number of hospitalized patients going up. And so that to us is really a critical challenge in the days ahead.
The data shows that symptoms for this variant appear to be similar to previous waves we've seen. Experts say the best precautions are to get vaccinated for all of these respiratory illnesses going around here. And right now, the CDC is keeping track of emergency department visits and hospitalizations. Good news is it's nothing like the surge we saw in 2021 into 2022 with Omicron. So this new strain is more contagious, but less severe.
Yeah, still a good reminder for all of us. You're watching KGW News. Coming up on